Hello Internet friends, my name is Rich, aka Darth Hall, and thank you so much for joining me today in the Toy Aisle Alliance. Want to do a quick Darth haul, speaking of my alter ego, on some action figures that I just hauled mere hours ago. The reason I want to make this video so quick is because I'm really excited to get these guys, and I can't wait to put them on my shelf. This is, of course, the newest wave of Star Wars The Black Series action figures. I think it's officially wave 18 of sort of the red box design. I could be wrong. I'm not going to look it up. There's been a lot of Black Series waves. But this is the most current. I found these at an EB Games here in Canada. I've also heard of them showing up in, I think, Walmarts in the US. I just came back from Boston a few days ago, and I checked many a Walmart and did not see these guys. So I don't think they're hitting terribly hard. But they're definitely hitting in Canada. There are only 3 new figures in this wave. Everyone else is a repack. So, of course, I got the new figures. So let's take a look at them real quickly. First of all, from the very fun movie Solo, A Star Wars Story, we have Tobias Beckett, Han's sort of mentor. Very nice figure, very cool, kind of Clint Eastwood cowboy design. He comes with 2 different blasters. One thing I noticed is I had a hard time putting the bigger blaster in this hand, which would be his right hand. Had to figure out my rights and my left. I don't know if that's just me or if one hand maybe is a little bit bigger. Regardless, your mileage may vary. Really nice. He has 2 holsters for each blaster, and this part of the jacket is kind of sculpted where you can see the blaster, and you can probably do some cool, if you're going to do some action figure photography, some cool gunslinger poses where he's sort of pulling his blaster out of the holster. So very cool. Probably the figure I'm least excited for, just because, you know, he's not an original trilogy character. But I'm still really happy to have him. Really liked Woody Harrelson in Solo. So there you go, Tobias Beckett. Very nice. And again, it's just the blasters that he comes with, but they are very nicely sculpted in a nice Woody Harrelson sculpt. It looks a little, is waxy the right word? He's kind of has a bit of a dead stare in his eyes. But still, it's still, I was not expecting to get a Woody Harrelson action figure. So here we are. Secondly, we have the Rebel Fleet Troopers, and these are some figures I've been wanting to get in Black Series for a long time. I was lucky enough to get 2 of them. I don't know if Rebel Troopers ever looked like this other than A New Hope. But regardless, here they are. Obviously, the helmet is removable. And what's very cool is that they come with a little Death Star plans, which I think is a really nice touch. Great face sculpt. One downside to Kenner using that new face printing technology is that the faces don't look quite so generic. So if you want to army build these guys, the faces look so good you can tell that that's the same dude. So it'd be nice. I wish they'd come with at least 1 extra head. Would have been pretty neat. But regardless, if you have a bunch of these and they're all wearing their helmets, I don't think it'll be that noticeable. Again, the accessories are his helmet, if you want to count that as an accessory, his blaster, and of course the Death Star plans. One thing I want to note, they all have your typical Black Series articulation. I'm not going to go over articulation because I'm lazy. But the elbows, even though there are single jointed, not double jointed, you get really good range of motion with the elbows, especially on Beckett, as you can see. And last but not least, the figure I was most excited to get, one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters, is Han Solo but specifically Bespin Han. Everybody loves Bespin Han Solo. I think that's why in Force Awakens and in Solo, A Star Wars Story, they had him wearing a long sleeve jacket because Han Solo always looks best in a long sleeve jacket. The only accessory is his blaster, which still looks quite nice. Again, standard articulation. I love the sculpt on this guy, the body sculpt. Now the face is where there's been a little bit of controversy, if you can call an action figure's face a controversy in 2018. compared to how the Grand Moff Tarkin came out, that looked spot on, perfect, rivals SH Figure Arts. I think people were really hoping the Han is dead on, and it's not quite. It's good. It's almost like the shape of the head is maybe a bit off. I still like it. I'm not complaining. It's just not quite like how that Grand Moff Tarkin figure turned out. But still, it's a Bespin Han, which everybody wanted. There's also a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version of Bespin Han, which he comes in fancy packaging, comes with a Minox, some goggles, and an extra hand. I might actually put on some gloved Han hands, because I have an extra pair. I think that might look kind of cool. But here he is. Now mine, if you can make it out, he has a little bit of white or something right on his temples, which almost gives the illusion of slight gray hair, but I don't know if it's glue or just, I don't know, China dust from the factory. So that's a little disappointing. It's not super noticeable. I can probably do something about that, and I doubt that's going to be on all the figures. But yeah, I am just over the moon excited to have Bespin Han Solo finally in the 6-inch Black Series line. Oh, the other thing, they've also, if you look on Han, he gets a lot more neck movement. The whole neck actually is articulated, as opposed to just a ball joint. So that is really, really cool that they have that in there. So they've bettered the face sculpts, they've bettered the articulation. Kudos to Hasbro for really going all out with the Black Series. And just as a quick comparison, because this is the figure I'm most excited about, is the Bespin Han. Here he is with the, I'm keeping you in suspense, the Black Series Han Solo from A New Hope. And as you can see, the proportions of this guy are really good, and the silhouette is good. That's always important to me with my action figures. But the paint is very, I'm sure that's a decent sculpt, but the paint is very, very pedestrian. And there's a lot more details on the this new Han. And for one last comparison, here he is with the SH Figure Arts Han Solo, which is another fantastic figure. Probably still the best 6-inch Han Solo figure, even though there's a little bit of issue with how his face is printed on as well. Just do a quick side-by-side comparison. Sorry about the lighting. So yeah, I think this one's still a better Han, but Bespin Han, I'm all about Bespin Han, and I still think this is a great Black Series figure. Just because of how anticipated it was, just a little teeny tiny disappointed. Maybe it's the shape of the head. Did I already mention that? Just seems to be something a little bit off compared to, like I said, the Grand Moff Tarkin, which might be the gold standard of Black Series. But still, I'm not complaining. Well, I am complaining a little bit. I still love this figure. Highly recommend this. I think all Black Series fans are going to want Bespin Han. I think the Rebel Fleet Troopers, or just Rebel Troopers if you want to call them that, will also be very sought after. And then we have Tobias Beckett, who, it seems like, even though the movie didn't do as well as people thought, or certainly Disney hoped, the Solo figures seem to be flying off the shelves. So, and I know people like me really want to finish the whole crew from Solo. So, an awesome array of figures. It's too bad that this whole wave only had 3 new figures, but I suppose my wallet is grateful. So there you go, guys. The newest wave of Star Wars, the Black Series 6-inch scale action figures. Like I said, if you're in Canada like me, check your local EB Games. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I will see ya.